had to stop for a second to check if it was recording. Yeah, so doing nothing. Yeah, don't push, don't fight, just accept. And this is something that is really complicated to understand, and only with a lot of practice will you start to see glimpses of how life could be, how to practice full acceptance in a non-judgmental way. Because in reality, things are always just happening. So, yeah, I don't think I even want to go there now. I'm gonna just, I don't think I need to talk about this now. But yeah, so just full acceptance. Understanding that doubt and fear is gonna come. That's fine. Understanding that when it comes, it's not true. If you have these two already, then you'll be well prepared you'll be much better prepared to face these situations. So know they will come, and know that the thoughts that you have under the influence of anxiety and fear are not true. So you need to know how to identify your emotions as well. You need to know what confident feels like, what happy feels like, what discouraged feels like, what anxious feels like, what angry feels like, right? The better you understand your emotions and the thoughts that accompany each of those emotions, the better you'll understand yourself. Because especially with negative emotions, it really makes it easier when you can pinpoint exactly what emotion you're experiencing. So yeah, just being very specific about your emotions. It's and you'll see that you'll understand yourself so much better, and you'll see that you have so many more emotions than you thought. You know, you're not just, you might feel sad, but maybe, it's not exactly sadness. It's something like there's this emotion called forlorn, which is sad and alone. So you get my point, that maybe you're sad, but maybe it's not exactly sadness. And understanding those subtle differences, they make things a lot easier. Because again, with every emotion, the thoughts that accompany them will be a bit different, or very different. So yeah, knowing when they come, and of course it helps to, in moments of, especially in moments of a lot of presence, a lot of clarity, a lot of confidence, write down the things that you know are true, so that it will still be difficult to know. But with more repetition, it gets a lot easier. So that you know that if you have a sentence that says, I know that I can become this, I can do this. In moments of anxiety or fear or doubt, it will be much easier to know that that sentence is true, because your mind is going to tell you that it's not true. And it's going to come up with infinite fantasy what if scenarios that you were wrong in the past. What if I was wrong because I didn't, and then this shows up, and it's gonna come at you again and again and again and again and again. And the solution is the same: do nothing. You don't need to justify things that you're sure about. You don't need to have conversations about things that you know are true for a fact. You discuss things that you're not sure about. So when your mind raises doubt about things that you know you can do, it's trying to start a conversation. And if it starts that conversation, then it means it can start questioning more things, right? That's how fear works. It keeps on going down, down, down in different layers, and it brings you to stages, to dimensions that you're way past. But if you have the conversations on this level, very quickly you can be having conversations about this level, and then you just keep going down, right? You don't discuss things that you're sure about, so you don't need to have mental conversations about things that you're sure. So if you know you can do, I'm going to use the backflip example all the time. If you know you can do a backflip, that probably means that you can do a front flip, and that you can jump on water, and that you can get out of the water, and that you can swim. So in a situation of fear and doubt, your mind might question like, oh, maybe you can't do a backflip. And you're like, yeah, but you're having this conversation like, yeah, I know I can do a backflip, I've done it before. And then it starts questioning your ability to do a front flip. Yeah, but maybe, and it has been so long since you've done a front flip, and you're older now and you're tired, so you probably can't even do a front flip. And then you answer, no, I know I can do a front flip because and then it keeps going down until a point where you're scared to even go into the water because you don't know if you can swim and if you can get up. So don't feed these conversations that will take you to lower levels. And if you do go to those lower levels, because all of this is happening very spontaneously, experientially you might feel like you're choosing to have these conversations. That's what it feels like, but you're not doing anything. So having this knowledge does help, that you don't want to go to lower levels. But if you go there, it's just happening. And just accept. Right? That's the whole point as well. Non-reactivity. You can just be listening to this conversation, and losing an argument or winning an argument in your mind doesn't really mean anything. Only if you believe it does. Your mind can tell you can't do a backflip. If I go there and I do a backflip right now, it's over. At least for now. And I build confidence again in my ability to do a backflip in this case, which is all cases that I've presented. But yeah, so that's it. Action always dominates thought. If your mind tells you you can't do something, and you lose that discussion in your mind that is happening in a completely spontaneous way, that is completely fine. If it doesn't move you, if you don't start making decisions, and you don't have actions that go, that would reinforce what your mind told you. So if you believe that you can't do those things and you stop doing those things, or you hesitate, or even if you hesitate, it's fine as long as you do it. And again, everything is always fine. Even if you don't do it, you can go back to building confidence in other ways. You can write about it. You can understand that those things are not true. There are always ways to backtrack. It's not like you make one mistake and it's over. Small wins do add up, and there are definitely situations that are important, but usually they feel more important than they really are. It's not like, it's also a game that your mind will play. It's not like you make one mistake and it's over. No, it will never be like that. It's never over, It doesn't work like that at all, ever. Any type of what ifs, all hypothetical, catastrophic scenarios, that's always a lie. Things are always fine. All the worries you've had, things are always fine. Everything is always okay. You always have another chance. You can always try again. So yeah, be careful with what you believe, but even what you believe is completely spontaneous. So the feeling of resistance and friction, it's you need to go through it, but know that it's just experientially you feel it, but you're not really doing anything. So yeah, fear, doubt, judgment, anxiety, those are really, really difficult emotions. That's all they are. They're emotions. The more you feel them, the more exposure you have to them, the more you feel them, get comfortable with them, and then do things that your mind, whilst under the spell of those emotions, tells you that you cannot do it, that builds a lot of confidence. That builds a lot of confidence. Yeah, definitely doing things that your mind would tell you is impossible builds a lot of confidence. The more times, the more frequently you prove yourself that you can do things when your mind tells you you cannot do them, you're growing and you're building confidence. An easy way to do that is with physical activity. If you go for a run, if you run, you've experienced this, your mind is going to tell you, you can't do this, you can't do this, stop, 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 and then you do it. And you have such a rewarding feeling afterwards. A race feels, running feels very good for all types of different reasons with everything that is happening physiologically, but also because you've beaten your mind. Or the sauna is also it's a good practical example too, or a cold shower. I can't do it, cold shower, it's over. Or you go into the sauna 10 minutes, I gotta leave, stay for 20 minutes, okay? You do that again and again and again and again, and you're always building confidence. And then you start to know that when your mind tells you can't do things, it's not true more and more. And then it gets to a level where your, foundational level of confidence is so high that even in moments of doubt and fear and anxiety, you still know. You'll start to believe those thoughts less and less. And even if you believe them in the moment, it doesn't really matter. Because deeper than the belief under anxiety and doubt that you can't do that is a level of confidence that some of it just cannot be taken away anymore. It's such a deep knowing, that I guess maybe in some extreme situations you would doubt that knowledge, but I guess you'd have to be extremely tired, extremely anxious, under very specific circumstances. But in normal circumstances, you start to know what's real and what's not. And what's real and what's not, it's whatever you choose to believe that is real and is not. So that's it. Choose the emotions you want to pay attention to. Choose the emotions you believe are real, and then build your reality according to those emotions. Okay? Yeah. I think some of it was okay. I really like speaking like this. I think sometimes it will be a bit better, sometimes a bit worse. I'm sure if I watch the video, maybe I lost track a little bit, but hopefully there is one or two good points in there. And yeah, I'll get better as I practice as well. I know that. Yeah. Yeah. I guess I can also tell you a story. I tried recording this the other day, but it didn't go so well. I was very tired, and now I feel better. So I think I'll do better at telling the story. Also, I was trying to fit it into. I've been struggling a bit with this. I went to do content on TikTok, and on Instagram, and on YouTube. I think the ideal format for me was YouTube, but I also wanted to. I wanted to create a video, and I wanted to hit like 100,000 views or 1,000,000 views in my first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 videos. So I was focused on the shorter format. And so far I've shared 2 videos, and I think maybe I have 3K on the first one, and then maybe like 2.5K on the second one. And they were just like introduction videos for longer format videos that I would release, or for a series. But my energy was also lower on those videos, so I like to think that if my energy was higher, I would have connected with those videos. Not that it really matters, but I'm just curious to find out what happens when my energy shifts to, levels of presence and flow and confidence. So I'm gonna start sharing more on YouTube. And this story, I like it so much. And again, I was trying to fit it into 1 minute and 30, and it's a longer story. So I was doing a meditation retreat in Irisaida like a month ago or so. And during the day you'd have to do tasks, so you need to do these chores, and sometimes I would be responsible for cooking and helping in the kitchen. One of the days I was cooking, I was working with one of the monks there. He was a monk in training. He was helping us with cooking and preparing food. Yeah, just just cooking. We're in the kitchen talking. We're having a conversation. And I really liked the monastery because I could openly speak about just different ideas or things that I've experienced that usually I wouldn't talk about, maybe with my family or in other contexts. And so I'm talking with him, and he shared the story with me, and I was so moved by the story. It's like, fuck, this guy is really cool. I thought it was so impressive, so impressive. I think he was 46 years old. He'd been meditating since he was 16, so 30 years of practice. And now he was doing, I think they do 1 year training. So he was wearing white instead of wearing the usual outfit. I don't know what the color is that usually the monks use. Yeah, and I'll get to the story. And we're in the kitchen, and he has, yeah, we're in the kitchen and he had this workshop. Fuck me. We're in the kitchen and he starts telling me the story about when he worked at this. I don't know why the story is so difficult to tell. I think it's because I've practiced it so many times that I just want to get it done with. I don't even like the story anymore now. So he had a workshop. He was working at this workshop. He was sawing wood or chopping wood or something. And he was cutting it, and this part of his finger, he chopped it off. So he's working, finger gone. And I think it's important to stop for a second and try to understand how you would react to this situation, and then understand that the way you would react is probably not accurate at all. You're underestimating how scared and how fearful and how anxious and how filled with panic you'd be. A normal situation, a normal person, a person without practice of meditation, in a situation like this, you fucking lose your mind. You're so scared, you have no idea what to do. Your mind is focused on all the problems that you have right now and all the problems that you're gonna have in the future. You're gonna lose your hand. What if you can't stop the bleeding and you die? Also, you're in a lot of pain and there is blood everywhere. What if I lost my finger, but maybe I'll lose my hand? What if I lose my arm? What if I die? I don't know. Imagine how many scary scenarios your mind could throw at you in a situation like this. And again, there is blood everywhere and there is so much pain. And you've literally lost a part of yourself. So much of this is new, so much of this is unknown, and you never thought you'd be in a situation like this. You never thought you'd lose a finger, and now you've lost a finger for life. Maybe. Your mind tells you that. You probably did, probably worse, maybe you died. So, yeah, you're scared. You're really scared and you have no fucking idea what to do in a situation like this. And yeah, but this guy, no, very different, right? His mind, because of so many thousands of hours of practice of equanimity, non-reactivity, presence, understanding his emotions, understanding his mind, understanding himself, he doesn't even go through any type of doubt, fear, nothing. His mind is clean, focused on solving problems. It goes like, how can I stop the bleeding? He stops the bleeding. And there were also people around him at the workshop. They're very confused. They can't understand how he's so calm and collected in a situation where you should be panicking, you should be scared. You lost a finger. So he's calm, he's cool, stops the bleeding. He's trying to find solutions, right? Calls his brother, tells him, hey, I'm closing the workshop. He drives himself to the hospital. I thought this was insane. He drives himself to the hospital after cutting off his finger. I have spiders on me. No reaction. um, Yeah, so I have webs all over me. He gets to the hospital, he goes to doctors see him, they do some sort of a bandage around his finger, they reconnect his finger. Okay, he goes home. 3 days later, he goes back to the hospital. He hadn't seen the finger at all. They take off the bandage, the finger is dead. So it's all black. That means he lost his finger. What happened was the doctor made a mistake. The doctor was incompetent. Something with an artery went wrong, and so he had a second chance to keep his finger. He didn't have to lose it, but because of a mistake that someone else made, on top of the mistake that he had made already, cost him his finger. He had all the reasons to blame himself, the doctors, the hospital. He could blame everyone, right? He had a lot of good excuses. His mind could would have a really good time working with all those. But no, he took full accountability, full responsibility. He's just in the present moment, and that's it. I lost my finger, it's gone, it's over. It doesn't matter. The thought that he had, because he was a musician, he played the guitar, he told me the thought he had was, I guess I've played enough music. That's just absolutely insane. Can you imagine the level of just absolute surrender to the present moment and full acceptance that you lose a finger because you made a mistake and then the doctors made a mistake? And it doesn't take you 10 years to accept it. It doesn't take you 1 year. It doesn't take you a week. In that very second, it's gone. You don't have a finger. That's it. And it's cool. And on top of this, he told me that he felt gratitude for everything that had happened. He felt gratitude for all the moments that he had enjoyed music. You know, he felt gratitude also because, yeah, he also shared with me that when he was, I thought this part was very cool as well. I love the story. When he was sawing wood, he had a thought telling him like, hey, be careful. Something about it being too short or something might go wrong. And he chose to ignore that thought. And that's why he lost a finger. So he even felt gratitude for that whole moment. He told me it humbled him even more, you know, how he chose to, you know, ignore that information that he learned from. That said, he was able to learn and find gratitude for every single experience, for the good parts, for playing music for all those years, and then again for the present moment. It's shocking. It's shocking to me. It's shocking because imagine how life could be if this was the mindset, if this was the way that we could live life, not second guessing any decision. You know, it's so easy to focus on your mistakes or mistakes of other people, even when it's not really a mistake. It's so easy to, I could give you so many different examples. You go out to a restaurant, maybe you want fish, maybe you want meat. You choose meat. Fuck, I should have gotten fish. Or or you're having a conversation with someone, maybe you don't say the perfect thing, and you're going, you know, you're ruminating on over that. You keep analyzing the conversation in your head again and again and again, and you're just stuck on those, right, on those memories, thinking about what that person thinks about you or what is happening. Or, you know, you could do this with not just with things that have happened, but about the future, imagining how things could be. You have fantasies about what life could be, or things that you wish were different, or again, going to the past, decisions that you made that were wrong, or, you know, there's so many different examples. And these are such small things, and it's all happening in mind. And if I find myself thinking about situations that I'm analyzing in my head, there's usually one question that is very important. Am I learning from this? Can I apply this in any way? Will this help me solve any problem? Any of these questions, if the answer is no, I'm not learning. I can't analyze this situation in a way where I'll be better at handling future situations. then I choose to drop it and I don't want to think about it, right? And if this is a very good example, because I think at least I did it my whole life, and even now it might happen sometimes. Again, it's automatic, it's spontaneous, where you have a conversation with someone and then you're just repeating the conversation in your head again and again and again and again. And yeah, you know, what is your intention with this? Are you doing this because you want to improve your social skills? Because you want to understand how the other person might have perceived you? Because you understand how you came across, you understand the message that you passed? Like, there are a lot of good questions, and knowing your intention when you're doing things is essential always. But if you're doing this if you're reviewing this conversation and it's not going to translate into anything beneficial for you, these spiders, then drop it. You know, how do you drop it? The first step is deciding that you want to drop it. So set a clear intention to not go over these conversations in your head. If they still happen, but you've decided that it doesn't matter, then that really helps. And then eventually they will start showing up. If you don't feed it, if you don't give it attention, if it's not important to you, then eventually these things will stop showing up in your mind. And you also need confidence for this, knowing that, you know, your mind will become a cleaner space. Your mind will become more focused on things that are important than things that are not important. Because imagine all you could do if your attention, your energy, your focus is on the present moment all the time, instead of ruminating over the past, thinking about worries, planning the future, you know, being caught up in fantasies, you know, how much better your life would be if you had this thing, or how how much worse your life would be if you lost that thing. It doesn't matter at all, you know. It doesn't matter. It's not improving your life in any way. Just present moment. That's all that matters. How do you tune into the present moment? You know, this work is, you have to do it for years, you have to do it for a long time. It takes patience, effort. It will build a lot of resilience, and you have many different ways. Even eat healthy, work out, go for runs, be in nature. But I think the best tool is meditation. I think meditation is the easiest, simplest way to understand your mind and to understand the nature of reality in a better way, in a more accurate way. And yeah, that will allow you to live a better life. What is a better life? You choose what is important for you, but overall, you cannot go wrong with meditation. It will build separation from ego. It will help you understand your more fundamental part. It will help you understand what thoughts are real, what thoughts are not real, what you want to believe, what you don't want to believe, what type of person you want to be. Meditation is the best tool. It practices non-reactivity, it practices acceptance, it practices being in the present moment, practices stillness and quiet. And yeah, it stops reactivity. It allows you to act, right? Not react. It's the best way I know to live a good life. So yeah, and meditate maybe when you don't have to lose a finger to wake up. And yeah, ask yourself, where can I let go? Which situations am I giving too much energy, effort, attention that are not improving my life in any way? Where am I wasting my time? Wouldn't you rather be doing something fun, or something that helps you grow, or something that improves your life or the ones around you, instead of ruminating, caught up in thought and past or future? It's an easy choice. It I mean, it can sound easy, but really it's not that easy, because the mind loves it. The mind absolutely loves traveling to fantasies and worries, and yeah. So it needs retraining to step into the present moment. And yeah, it's, well, you have beautiful moments, you have very difficult moments, because it takes feeling, it takes paying attention. And you know, for me at least, it came with a lot of anxiety, a lot of doubt. And you know, I'd be surprised if you go on a deep journey to understand yourself and to improve yourself, and you don't feel anxiety and doubt and sadness and anger, and you know, the full spectrum of emotions, negative and positive. So it's also a lot of fun, and it's beautiful. So yeah, I think I'm done talking for now.